My name is Brandon, and basically I make leather tutorials. Today I'm going to be showing how to make a dog collar like I made for my dog Smokey. So here's my dog Smokey. Yeah, just made a real nice collar the other day. Take this off of you, I know. So here's his, so basically just do a stamp on it and then did an antique dyeing and then stitched in a belt buckle. I know, buddy. Belt buckle, a keeper, and a D-ring. So let's go ahead and get that started. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our strap just using some tooling veg tan leather. And so we're going to start with our, this guy I believe is 1.25 inches, which it is. So we're actually going to make it just about 1 1/8 inches. Because the D-ring I have is only 1 inch, but 1 1/8 inches will fit just fine. So first thing we're going to do is grab your belt cutter, you know, whatever you got. If you got a straight edge, that works just fine, but I went ahead and grabbed me one of these. Just go ahead and Alright, so what I'd like to do next is I'm going to take our first edge here, just going to center it, and I'm going to put an English tip on the end, and that way we can figure out where our belt buckle is going to sit. Okay, so let's go ahead and mark our center, the end here. Now I have 1.5 inch one. I just got one size. That way it doesn't matter what size belt. It'll all work up to 1.5 inches. So just go ahead and center your English tip right on your mark. Now I just on the back side just make sure that the belt is centered between the two open gaps on the 1.5 inch English tip. Just go ahead and give it a whack. Oh. I didn't hit hard enough. There we go. Okay, English tip is done. So now what I like to do is from the end here, I'm going to mark 3.5 inches here. So now that it's marked, what I like to do, that's going to be my center point of where I'm actually going to put my oval punch. I got my center mark for my 3.5 inches from the edge. This is where my oval hole is going to go for my buckle. This will allow me to stitch in my buckle, allow for a keeper, and then also allow for a D-ring. And then I also on the end here, I like to put just a ribbon on the end. That way, just a little added security. And what you could do is you can go grab one of these guys. You can go grab one of these guys from Joann's or Michael's. What's really nice is it has these red marks on it. So you've got, you know, your 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4, and your 1 inch. So you can actually line this guy up on your belt, get your 1/2 inch, and that'll give you your center line really quickly. So it's a really good time saver. All right, so now you got that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to center up my center line on this guy, and then I got my center line for exactly where the center of my punch is going to be. So let's make sure we're on our piece of granite here. Just line your center up there first. Get your edges lined up on your mark. And give her a whack. Give her a good whack. There we go. Okay, that guy's done. So now, since we got this guy centered, we got this guy cut out, what I'm going to do now is I am going to mark out the circumference of, so I'm actually making, I said I was making a belt for my dog. Obviously I already made him one. This is going to be for my brother's dog. Her name is Rosie. So we're going to do 13.5 inches. All right. Now, it's always nice when you have your dog here that you can actually get the exact measurement of the neck. If not, they can get you a measurement for you. I actually like to add 2 extra holes on either side. That way it gives a little comfort for air. Now we got that hole marked. So now what we're going to do is go and take a ruler again. Just, it doesn't really matter. You can center it up on any number there. Just get your 1/2 inch lined up. Make your mark. And then I like to do 1/2 inch holes. So we're going to do, so bam, we've got our holes marked out for where our buckle's going to be going through. Go punch again and get these guys marked out. And just go ahead and get these guys done. Okay, so now we've got our holes punched. I like to do 4 inches from my last hole to the end. That allows plenty of room to go through the keeper and through your D-ring. So let's go ahead and mark out 4 inches. There. Go. There's basically your belt blank for your dog collar. All right. So when I'm casing leather, I like to do the whole thing. That way, when you go to dye it, you won't have like any small little imperfections, or one piece might look a little darker than the other. Or even if you're just going to keep it natural, maybe just put a little bit of neat's foot oil on it. I've had some leathers that will actually soak up the oil a little bit different where you wetted it versus where you didn't. So just make sure you wet this thing really good. That way when your stamp goes in, you don't have to hit it really hard, and then your stamp won't jump as well. Definitely make sure that when you go to set these, that you set it on a piece of granite. That way you're not hammering really hard, and then you're okay, so now that we got dog's name on the belt now, so what I'm going to do is I got one little mark I got to clean up here. My pencil mark. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and wait about 30 minutes or so and let this leather dry out a little bit before I go ahead and stain it. Alright, be right back. Okay, so now that my leather is dry now, I'm going to go ahead and trim off the edges a little bit, make them so they're a little bit smoother. This is a double O by Craft Tool. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dye the belt. I'm using it's a antique finish by Phoebings. This is a dark brown. See, now also when I do my antiquing or dyeing, whatever, I always like to put down some newspaper. You know, it's pretty cheap. And then you don't have to mess up your table, and if you wanted to too, you could actually just go like buy some sponges, or like a big sponge at Home Depot. That you can get them for a couple bucks, and just cut that up into real small cubes, and you can actually use that to apply your dye as well. If you don't want to use paper towel. Either way will work. All right. Now, the longer you let this sit, the darker it will get. All your edges. I like to do the backs of mine as well. You don't have to, but I'm going to go ahead and just do the back of mine. Alright, there you go. There's your dyed belt. So, or dog collar. So now what I'm going to do is just now go ahead and throw away all your mess. It's nice as you can just use your gloves and conceal that, and then bam, no mess. So now what you want to do is, what I like to do is just go ahead and let this guy sit for probably about a couple hours, or even overnight if you can. That way everything dries real nice for you. All right, we'll see you shortly. All right, and we're back. So the belt has had some time to dry from doing the staining. As you can tell, I got the name wrong the first time, so got that right. Now we're I'm actually going to make a belt keeper for this guy really quick. I'll show you how I do that. So what I do is just take a strip. Oh, Smokey wants to come over and say hi. What's up, buddy? You gonna help me? All right, I get some help today. So, oh, sorry, buddy. So we're gonna move this to a 1/2 inch. I'm going to cut a little strip. That should be good. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and make my belt keeper. So what I'm going to do is I take the strap of the belt buckle is going to go around, and just take your piece of 1/2 inch leather here, just wrap it around like that, and wherever your leather meets up right there, just take your pencil and just give it a mark. Bam. Now, just cut your line here. Okay. All right, so now, take your craft tool. There's your number. It's just a two prong for your hand stitch. go just about a 1/16 away from the end. Okay, so now grab your 2 needles here. I like using green's my favorite color. You know, if you want to use neon green or red or a natural color, you know, do whatever you want. It's that because it's not going to be seen because it's going to be underneath, sandwiched in between the 2 leathers. So this is just the color I like to go with. So you don't need much, probably about 6 or 8 inches. It's probably plenty. So go ahead and stab one side through, put it through into your thread there, and pull it right back down. Now what I like to do is take your lighter and just cinch the end. That way when you're pulling your thread through, you don't have a chance of the thread coming undone while you're trying to sew. Let's go ahead and start from the inside out. What's up, buddy? You come help me? That's how I did mine. You can stitch it pretty much any way you want. It's not going to come out. So now what I do is just go ahead and lop that guy off inside of there. Do the same thing to the other side. Now just take your lighter and singe those pieces on the inside. Singe those ends, I'm sorry, on the inside. Now, keeper's done. Now you can use a staple if you want to be quick, but I prefer to stitch it myself. That way I know this thing isn't going to come apart. Because I have had that happen. So let's go ahead and do just a little quick test fit. Alrighty. There you go. Keeper done. So now you can stain this too. I kind of like the little difference in color. That's just my preference. But I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little neat's foot oil on this, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so now we've got our keeper made up. We've got our belt buckle, and our D-ring. Let's go ahead and get it all sewn together, and then see how she comes out. All right, let's head on over to the sewing machine. Okay, so we're set up over here on the sewing machine, sewing on my Cobra Class 4, and we're going to be sewing in our belt buckle first. So first, I'm just going to go ahead and put a stitch here. All right, got our belt buckle in. So now what I'm gonna do is slide the keeper on. Oh, before I do that, okay, so now I got the belt buckle sewn in. I'm just going to go ahead and burn the ends a little bit to make sure those don't come out. Okay, backside. Good. Now we're going to go ahead and slide the keeper on. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to stitch right here, right next to this keeper, and get that sewn in. Now let's go ahead and slide our D-ring on. Get that on as well. And I'll show you why I leave a little extra room on the end here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the D-ring sewn in. So we got our D-ring, our keeper, and the buckle sewn in. And there's pretty much it. So now I have a little extra space here. What I like to do is actually put a rivet. So let's head back over to the table and put a rivet in, and we'll be done. All right, so we're back over at the table now. So what I like to do is just grab I like the double-sided rivets. I think they just look a little bit cleaner. So that's right there. Now that's why I leave a little extra gap right here. That's why I leave a little extra gap right here, is that way I can put myself a rivet on the end here just to make sure nothing will come out. Now the back side of the rivet, I actually just like it to be nice and flat. What I'll do is I'll actually just hammer it right on the granite. So let's go ahead and give it a good whack. There you go. So now when you're done, the back of your rivet is real nice and flat. There's no bump or anything, and then that way it's just a little added security. That way you know nothing will come loose on your belt or your collar. And there you go, here's your collar. So now I should have centered it probably from obviously maybe the center hole and my rivet here. So from now on, I think I'm going to do that instead of I centered it from the center of my belt buckle to the center of the hole. So make sure if you guys are following along, yeah, don't do this. Make sure you center off of your end of where your belt's going to be to the center of here. It'll give you it'll make it look a little bit better. But either way, it still looks great. Alright, here we go. Done. Thanks for watching, guys.